There it is, growing again. It's niggling at me, holding me back, rendering me incapable. I can't think rationally, where I usually find strength in my logic and sensibility. Why? Why now? Why has this seed implanted itself within my mind? It's growing. Its insidious roots enroaching, rapidly spreading, a metaphorical entanglement of fear, worry, and anxiety. So, what is this seed, and why is it so toxic? This, everyone, is the seed of doubt. And once the seed implants itself within you, it is very hard to take back control. I should know, because in the last few years, this seed has tried to take over many aspects of my life. But with knowledge and understanding, we can slowly weed out the seed of growth. So, what is the seed of doubt, and how did it possess me? It grows from many sources. It surely doesn't need photosynthesis. No, it just needs a cell membrane. In this case, that's me, to let the negativity in. This seed feeds on a lack of self-esteem and a lack of perseverance, which for me looks like quitting many things midway before I even give myself the chance to grow. Like a painting class I once enrolled in, I was so confident in the beginning. With my bold strokes, vivid colors, and contrasting outlines, those were the magic of my paintbrushes. My comic-like style was what brought my paintings to life. Then I looked over at my friends' paintings, those who were more advanced, more talented, who created more beautiful paintings. I felt discouraged, disheartened. My paintings were raw. I clearly didn't know what I was doing. I will never be good enough. My mom, who absolutely loved my paintings, tried to convince me that my style was unique. She even hung all 5 of my paintings around the house. But I didn't believe her. The seed of doubt was planted, and I quit after a month. This behavior would repeat often, time and again, with stressful consequences. A few months ago, we had a socials project where we had to highlight an area of historical significance. I went with Egypt. I invested over 2 weeks on this assignment and was just about to hand it over. But the day before it was due, that niggling feeling came back again. I looked back at what I did and decided that it wasn't interesting enough. It wasn't informative enough. It wasn't good enough. The seed, once planted, will sprout and grow. And at the 11th hour, I switched my entire focus to Europe. New template, new research, new 1,000-word write-up. I don't think I slept that night. And it isn't just that one time. This happens almost every other assignment. Just like how often I wash my hair. So as you can tell, I was constantly stressed, and I started to lose faith in myself. My mom, who of course knows when anything goes wrong, reminds me of this Chinese proverb, 脚踏实地, which literally translates to put your feet on the solid ground. Of course, she didn't mean to actually put my foot on the floor, I suppose. What she means, of course, is to focus on the road ahead, remind myself of what's important, and just keep going. But what I never tell her is that my ground feels like it's sand. It's moving rapidly and it's loose. And my road looks like it's filled with obstacles and potholes, with giant boulders and speed bumps. I am the best at thinking the worst. Certainly not a title I'm proud of. But my negative mindset always trumps, and it easily weaves its way into all the aspects of my life. Who knows? Maybe I just overthink everything. I'm polarized in my thinking. It's either black or white. It's either one extreme or the other. For example, I don't even give myself a fair chance in trying out for badminton, just because I don't see myself as being athletic enough. So it would be the reason why I would suck at it. I personalize problems. I'm at fault when anything goes wrong. When we had a group project and I was the leader, my teammate forgot what she was saying in the middle of the sentence. And of course, I froze. I didn't know how to help her get out the embarrassment. And of course, I didn't have a backup plan. So even though she thought it was her fault, I still blamed myself for the low grade we all got. I think through a mental filter, ignoring the positives, only focusing on the negatives. When I pass a piano exam and graduate to the next level, instead of basking in the glory, I immediately feel burdened by the next level I have to pass. All of these are very toxic traits, and I continue to catastrophize and see the worst in everything. The seed, once it is planted, it will take root rapidly. Just this summer, it hit a peak. Rather, I hit a wall. I suppose things were really looking bad, because even my parents expressed their worry. They even thought I needed therapy. And to be honest, I probably did at that time. And if that wasn't enough of a sign, around the same time, my friend had sent me an article titled, "What Things Can Affect Your Life?" And guess what the first on the list was? Negative thinking. And so partly out of a desire to not go to therapy, partly out of a desire to stop stressing about myself all the time, more importantly, out of a desire to find out more about myself and my affliction. So I sat down and Googled negative thinking. First, it was surprise, then disbelief, then a tinge of denial. But the more I delved in, the more relieved I became, because I finally found out what was happening to me and the correct terminology to describe what I was going through. And I found out that I, in fact, wasn't alone. And more importantly, I found out how I could help myself out of this doom and gloom, because the best thing about the human mind is that it is capable of change. Yes, I found out about neuroplasticity while I was at it too. We've always relied on books to learn about physics, calculus, geography. So why can't we do the same to understand ourselves? So over the next few weeks, I researched all I could about negative thinking. I read all the books I could get my hands on, watched countless YouTube videos on my recommendations, and gleaned all I can about it. And slowly, I learned to recognize when a negative thought comes to mind and identify it for what it is: polarization, generalization, or magnification. And even more slowly, I was able to reframe my thoughts and modify my behavior. If my mind was powerful enough to let the seed in, it was definitely powerful enough to push the seed out. After my summer of introspection, as I like to call it, I started my fall semester with a new mindset. I was calmer. I was more at peace with myself. And okay, maybe a little happier too. Even my parents complimented on my new outlook. They said I looked less stressful. They even said I was chatty and I smiled more. Wow. I never realized I was such a grouch. I'm not saying that I cured myself or that I completely healed myself, because I'm still plagued by these negative thoughts. I'm sure we all have them sometimes. The problem arises when it pervades our mind, undermines our accomplishments, discredits our ideas, or completely crushes our dreams. Until we find ourselves questioning our every decision, struggling with our self-worth and identity, and at the doorstep of depression and anxiety. I'm going to let my grandmother, a wise woman, have the last word here. It was she who encouraged my mom to keep learning, keep growing, and to be everything her heart desires. Her Chinese proverb of choice, one that she constantly reminds me and my brother. 今天所播下的种子，将会是明天盛开的花朵. Which means all the flowers of the future are in the seeds of today. Let's eradicate the seed of doubt and replace it with the seed of growth. Thank you.